specifically in Orange County and LA County and the Long Beach area where I'm located. I tell my opponents, like I said, who some obviously most are of the Latinx community, gay person, a person of the LGBTQ community, a woman, so forth. I tell folks, you send me the black folk you working with, I'll send you the Latinx folk who I'm working with. You send me the straight folk who you working with, I'll send you the LGBTQ folk who are coalitioning with me. You send me the men you working with, I'll send you the women I'm working with. That much more. And so that's my pitch. And this weekend, with the MLK weekend, my team is already hitting the ground. If you want to come volunteer, like I said, even though you're not in the district, I welcome it. But this weekend, we're dropping cards, literature in front of people's houses and at locations already. So we got really great people on the ground already there. And like I said, we just make our pitch and see where the chips fall where they may.
Thank you very much, Reverend Somerville. And again, yes, thank you very much, Reverend Somerville. And again, again, everyone, any questions you have, please DM me or Rella, and we'll definitely call you up to ask those questions. But Reverend Somerville, you talked about people volunteering for your campaign that may not be local to you. What types of volunteer positions or what things can people do that may be across the country to help with your campaign? We know donating, obviously, but what other types of volunteer positions would be available?
Phone banking, text banking, phone banking, text banking would be most prevalent. If you want to, come here, let us know. We'll coordinate with one of my volunteer leads. How that obviously that if you come here, and right now because California, how can I say it? They look progressive, even though we're not progressive. I'm consolidated. How can I say it? I am consolidated. And that's what I was frustrated about. And that's what I was frustrated about when they moved Orange County out of the district when they redrew the lines. However, it's still in the middle of Central Southern California. And so I'm still calling for folks to coalition and consolidate their energy, and then we expand and penetrate the establishment and the status quo from there.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Reverend Somerville. And everyone, please heed those directions there if you want to support his campaign with donations and volunteering your time as well. Again, the link up top is for the donations. So Reverend Somerville, being from California, what have you learned from the commission that's out there for reparations, and what would you like to see coming out of that? Anything you could share from that regard with us in the room?
Well, they're obviously identifying the data. They're bringing in the scholars. I think, if you will, it should be bigger. I think what should come out of that is the California Reparations Task Force to continue even with the newly written legislation so we can talk to ensure that the infrastructure is working well. Also, I am banning an army of sorts of, like I said, non-ADOS folk who support reparations, especially out of the talks that I have led and whatnot, to get on a call and give voice to as to why we need reparations in California and things of that nature. So that's just a few of the things. But my fraternity brother Steve Bradford, he's on that commission, which I'm currently seeking his endorsement as well. So yeah.
Okay, fabulous. Thank you. We have another question here from the audience. I'm trying to see if Labar can get up. Let me just make sure. Labar, throw up the 100 if you see the invite, or request the mic to come up and ask the question. I'm not sure if it's glitching. I'm going to go ahead and read the question. Labar, come on up if you can. I'll read the question to you, Reverend Somerville. The first question is, how long do you think Black people will be able to live and thrive in California in in terms of having political authority that is not completely controlled, that would have to be approved by whites and Latinos?
Okay, repeat the question again.
Oh, no problem. How long do you think Black people will be able to live and thrive in California in terms of having political authority that does not have to be completely approved by whites or Latinos? Uh, Labar is up here too as well. Maybe he can
okay,
phrase the question better than I did.
No, I understand the question. I just didn't. My GPS started speaking while you were asking the question. That's all. So it will happen when Black folks in political position stop being bought. Like, it's pure unadulterated money in politics, and that's the reason why. Um, if Black folks keep and Black political leaders keep taking these political deals and receiving their money by these corporate entities that kills our communities, especially these oil refineries, like, it's not gonna stop. And that's and so, like I said, I know I'm with an uphill climb. Um, if I don't cross the finish line, at least my kids can say, at least my daddy tried. So yeah, so that won't. Yes, it just, yeah, it's really frustrating. We had the opportunity to elect the first African American woman chair of the California Democratic Party, and the super delegates, which were all political leaders in Southern California, voted for this other guy who was a lobbyist because he was calling in his political favors. And I don't know if you all saw that. Obviously you didn't see that, but this is my point. I don't know if you saw during the presidential election when Michael Bloomberg started running for president, and all kinds of Black folks out of everywhere was supporting him. I was like, you've got to be kidding me right now. Like, this is how deep this thing runs. So yeah, it won't happen until we stop getting bought. Now, the flip side of that is our wealth income, our wealth gap is a direct reflection of it. So, like I said, it's a struggle. And that's where I have a little bit of sympathy, but not much. Let me be very clear about that. But that's the problem. Like, it's not necessarily when or whatnot, but it's really about just stop getting bought and like really go out there and talk to people. So yeah.
All right, thank you very much, Reverend Somerville. Blabar has another question, and then we'll come to you, daughter of Zion. But Blabar, when you come out, please let Reverend Somerville know where you're located and ask your question. The floor is yours.
Okay, yeah. So the second part of the question was, do you have any Black church endorsements? I know there's some fairly large Black churches in California. I'm in Pennsylvania, so I would support you financially the best I can, and repost anything you have to share. But that's my second part of the question.
Yeah. If you go to my website, you'll see the endorsements of the Black churches that have endorsed me. Most specifically, Black churches out of Orange County that I'll highlight. Second Baptist Church, which of Santa Ana, which is the oldest Black Baptist church in Orange County. When we did our campaign kickoff weekend, as part of our kickoff weekend that Sunday, we gave away 500 boxes of food. Then there is New Hope Presbyterian Church, which is the only Black Presbyterian church in the pastor, not the church. The pastor endorsed our campaign, and she's also the only Black woman pastor in that Presbyterian district. Then you have Reverend Dr. Charles Dorsey of Core AME Church, and he is one of the associate pastors there, and that church holds about 2,000 members. And then there's Friendship Baptist Church, which is the church out here in California that Rosa Parks attended, and the pastor there, Reverend Kenneth Curry, who's my good friend, he's endorsed our campaign. Here in Long Beach, I'll let you all know because it's not up on the website. And in this, obviously in this room, but Reverend Dr. Gerald Johnson, he has he's endorsed our campaign, and he's of Greater Harvest Church of God in Christ. And he's even made his facilities available as a headquarters of sorts for us, and for our campaign. Then there's Bishop Sherman Gordon, who's the senior pastor of Family of Faith Christian Center. He's endorsed our campaign and made the facilities available as a second headquarters for our campaign of sorts. So you're going to have somewhere to go if you come out here and you need to find, where we're located. The Black church is stepping up. They are right there. And I did not expect it. And then also Bishop Ulmer is in support of our campaign, of Faithful Central Bible Church. And he's already contributed significantly to the campaign. Back to real quick, Bishop Sherman Gordon and his church. Our campaign did a toy drive, a Christmas toy drive, and I asked for non-electronic toys to be provided, and it was through his church that they said, come Christmas Day, you all hand out the toys, we'll take care of everything else. And we gave away all kinds of stuff. Now, let me also highlight the fact that the charity that our campaign is doing is to really give issue to the policy of neglect. And one thing that I know that I'll be pursuing, even as a freshman congressman, I can do this, is to hit up all the charities, hit up as many charities as I can to identify how they think policy can avoid the charity that they're doing, and they can focus on other things. That's the problem. We push charity when we really need policy. So that's just where it's at. And so those are the Black pastors of those churches that have supported, that have endorsed and behind my campaign.
Hey, real fast, Reverend Somerville, I just want everybody to see that I put your website right up in the Jumbotron. And again, you can go onto the website as well as the donation link to donate and find out more about Reverend Somerville, where he's located, as well as his issues of concern, and also where he has his plan of action for reparations. I'll let you, Alexis, take this over again. And thank you so much for everybody being so patient and coming in.
Thank you, Rella. Daughter of Zion, you had another question. Please go ahead. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Somerville. I think you kind of touched on it when you were speaking about kind of standing up to, standing up to the corporations or white supremacy. But the corporations are the small business owners, especially, in Orange County. And these business owners are the same ones that hire illegal immigrants. I mean, it's a system out here in California. So
yeah.
I'm just wondering, I don't know how would you stand up to that, being that they haven't really backed you, the Democrats, and how do you stand up to the CBC? I mean, they're totally compromised. They've been compromised for 30 years. So I don't know.
You're absolutely correct. Marcel, and basically I share the same thing. Marcel is wanting to push to fine and charge companies and corporations for these practices and what have you. And so I'm standing with him on that. I really like where he's going with that. And obviously, if he's not there, I'm gonna carry the banner all the same. So you have that, as well as many Black businesses are suffering, and just a lot of small businesses are really challenged. Um, in my campaign kickoff weekend, we had a business expo, entrepreneurial business expo, as part of that weekend. And what what I was fortunate enough to have is folks come in to obviously address about the disparities in the Black community and small business. And I had one of my Latinx supporter uh, who's the Central Committee chair for Orange County, to talk about when is it ethical to unionize as a business and a corporation. Yet a lot of unions are corrupt as well. So it's a whole situation. And all the more reason why we need money out of politics and whatnot, because the federal government, the government needs to be obviously more integral. And obviously this is futuristic thinking because it's clearly not happening now, which is why obviously we're trying to get in. But yeah, no, we losing out. And there, and in Long Beach, now I can say this: one of my opponents, who's the mayor of Long Beach, he decimated a whole Black community. There's no Black community anymore. We have Black businesses, we have Black chamber groups, but it's no Black community anymore. And so, yeah, So, so part of my governing, even in my freshman year, I'm going to see to it that the volunteer leads that I have will be continuing to campaign, and they're going to be continuing to show up at the city council meetings, the municipalities, and those meetings to advocate for us and for those obviously who are losing out. Um, Fortunate, I just think about when I used to live in South Orange County, the city of Aliso Viejo. There was a ranch that they approved to build, and they basically approved on that to spend $18 million on a ranch. And I'm like, and fortunate enough, but, but let me back up to say, what was sad about that is and was there was only one person who made a bid to do the construction for that. And so from there, a friend of mine, we were pissed basically by that, because we were like, we can get Black folks in here and a whole Black construction company, which will probably even be less because taxes are not as in demanding in other states as they are in California, and put Black folks on this work. So yeah, and all that to say, he then later ran for city council and he won, and he's the first Black city councilman of Aliso Viejo, which he was now promoted within the council as the mayor pro tem, first Black mayor pro tem.
Thank you.
Thank you. Again, anyone with questions, we have about 7 more minutes with Reverend Somerville. So please submit those and we'll call you up so you can ask directly. Reverend Somerville, so this is a question for you here. What are your thoughts on the descendants of the American descendants of slavery, freedmen populations, descendants of freedmen, being given federally protected status in this country?
That's my main priority. We're not safe. We're not safe. My sophisticated fantasy, once we get this comprehensive reparations, is that those of us who are African American descendants of chattel slavery, descendants of freedmen, they on our driver's license, I want it to say DOS, DOCS, DOF, whichever works best to get us our protection, which will let us know and let everybody else in the world know this is a protected class, and you can try and test us, but you have a federal government on your behind. I have other colorful words to say, but I gotta act like I got halfway. so that's my push. That's my sophisticated fantasy. And how can I say this? Once what I envision with what it means to have comprehensive reparations is for us to have that, to really have agency, right? That's really what I want to see. And we can do that with the budget that we have. Hence the whole redistribution of wealth uh, in our country. Um, I work I'm more known as a hospital and more specifically hospice chaplain. And out here in California, I have served people. I have served people on hospice who are actively dying under bridges, as well as I was fortunate enough to serve one of the a member of one of the wealthiest families in the world. And what was crazy about it is both of those persons exercised my services through your tax dollars in order for me to serve as a spiritual care provider. Here's my problem with the family member of one of the 9 wealthiest families in America. He used hospice Medicare to have me come in to be his spiritual care provider, but he had a concierge physician at 18 million, a concierge nurse at 8 million, and a concierge caregiver at 2.4 million. But decided when he needed most with the spiritual care for him to, if you will, die properly or die more in peace, called for me, but said, let's use the government benefit to do so. That's a problem.
Excellent. Thank you for answering that question, Reverend Somerville. I know we're coming up here towards the close of our time with you, and I definitely like to give you an opportunity to make any final statements that you would to us, or whatever is on your mind that you'd like to close out with so we can get you to your next appointment. Before doing so, everybody, please remember to follow Reverend Somerville, like his tweets, and retweet them out there. You can sign up on his website to volunteer for his campaign, even if you are all the way across the country. And also, there's the link to donate as well. Reverend Somerville, as we're nearing the end of our time together, would love for you to take the final couple of minutes to make your final appeal to us.
We're gonna clearly be doing this every week, so I'm okay with it. As you all know, as everybody knows, it's no secret to us. We are in the fight of our lives. Unfortunately, as incremental as we're moving, we still must move with urgency. And I thank you all for being the wind beneath my wings in this pursuit, because even though our ancestors were brilliant and all that great stuff, there were some things that were missed that we can now pick up and carry that mantle and that banner. So serve the people, peace, love, and reparations.
Thank you again, Reverend Somerville, for your time. Thank you to everyone for joining. Again, we will be here every week at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central, 4 p.m. Pacific, talking with Reverend Somerville and getting to know more about him and what he's going to be doing for us when he is elected to Congress. So thanks again to future Congressman-elect William Somerville. Have a good evening, everyone, and we'll see you here
everybody.
next week.
Thank you, Mr. Somerville, and good night, everyone.
Good night. Please remember to share. This has been recorded, and we'll tweet this out soon.